After thousands of runs and countless outings in the baggy green, you'd be forgiven for thinking cricket legend Steve Smith has it all, but even he will admit some days are not easy.
And this week is Men's Health Week, and he's teaming up with TV and radio commentator and all-round legend Gus Worland to shine a light on a subject that is too often ignored, and they both opened up to Karl.
Steve Smith has had a career very few can match.
Steve Smith caps off a golden period in his cricket playing years.
But it hasn't always been smooth sailing.
That'll do it. Steve Smith fittingly hits the winning runs.
The more you sort of keep bottling things up, it sort of builds up, and it's like blowing into a balloon. Each problem that you face that you don't talk about, and it just gets to a point, you just keep blowing into that balloon, it gets to a point where it just bursts.
I greatly admire you because when you were going through your hardships, you still had to front and you still had to be very public. How were you able to navigate through that?
Yeah, I think I'm really fortunate that I've got a group of people around me that I can talk to when I'm going through difficult times. You know, probably a group of 4 people that I can just go to. I can have a honest conversation with them. I can share everything with them, and they let me know that everything's okay.
Smith found a friend in TV and radio commentator Gus Worland, who founded mental health charity Gotcha for Life after losing one of his best mates.
When I heard that he had passed away, I thought it must be a car accident or something like that, because he was in perfect health. And not one person at that funeral, or even now, ever got the inkling that he was ever anything but perfect.
It's kind of the old school men's mentality of just being able to, you'll be right, mate, kind of get on with it kind of thing. So having someone there that you can have that conversation with, I still have difficult days and I still rely on people around me that I can talk to.
Now, the unlikely pair is taking that message to schools, and already they're changing lives.
There was 2 boys that had been stewing over things for a while, and both of them were planning to take their own lives that weekend. They found the honesty that Steve said at the school about what he had gone through so invigorating that they just went, you know what, I've got to tell someone how I feel, and it just opened up the bottle.
But how do you feel having known that you had that impact? I mean, that's direct Steve Smith talking to people result.
It was, initially it was scary,
yeah,
but it also drove me to want to do more, to know that kind of impact was happening early on after one school.
I think it's all right for guys to cry too. I mean, I cried during the beach volleyball scene in Top Gun.
Why wouldn't you?
I think allowing humour around, it's our nature, yes. And it's okay. I mean, back in the past, it's like, oh, we use humour to disguise things, but I think we can use humour to break down things as well.
That's right, and there's lots of people that say, oh, look, I don't want to talk about my emotions, I don't want to bring the group down, I'm not that guy, yeah. I'm just going to bottle it up. It's the way it's always been. Well, the way it's always been has got us to the point where it's the #1 way to die if you're a young Australian male. So
Gus came to me and told me the suicide rates here in Australia. At that stage, it was 6 men and 2 women a day committing suicide in, 25 million people in our country. I thought, that's just, it's unacceptable.
So taken with those numbers, Steve and Gus are urging Aussies to check their mental health every day.
Yeah, I reckon the mental score is probably at about an 8. But yeah. I'd have my days where I start off as a 4 and I just talk to myself and talk myself into a 5 and a 6. And by the time I get to brekkie and that sort of stuff, I might be a 7. If you can stay at 7 for the day, you are winning.
I think, Steve, obviously you're at a 4 physically.
Thanks, mate.
He's in great shape, Steve Smith, the best shape he's ever been in, and just that message from him mentally. There's so many things that can be learned from his ordeals, and they were ordeals, whatever he went through, and he's learned his lessons and he's got his way through it. But the lessons other kids and other boys and other men can learn from him talking about it and confronting those issues is very significant. Without a doubt, one of the most important things he'll do. And Gus as well, that message from him is perfectly eloquent. And cuts through everything that I've ever seen before. So well done to those 2 lads. Of course, if this has raised any concerns for you, you can contact Lifeline on 13 11 14. That's 13 11 14. Lifeline do a great job too.
Great story.
Yeah,
really, really
stuff,
strong.
Those guys are proper legends.